some pretty good 2D chops. And I think that's actually serving them better in terms of entertainment features and even in other applications as well. Certainly if you talk to John Lasseter or Ed Catmull or any of those people, they'll say they're looking for people with 2D chops, you know, because it's about the performance. It's about what you can do with the characters, whether it's rigged or whether it's drawn. And so I guess what I see lacking sometimes in CG animation is, actually I see it lacking in hand-drawn animation too. Sometimes people don't actually use strong poses enough. Yeah, in other words, you know, all the elder statesman animators really used to crystallize a very communicating pose, you know, throughout the scene. And it didn't matter how florid the animation was or how stylized the animation was, it would always start with those poses. I think with technology these days, you know, people don't do that as much because, you know, they can make a bunch of drawings and put it under the down shooter and then start playing with their timing and then start, you know, they don't do the pre-thinking first. Same thing with pre-timing your exposure sheets. You know, somebody asked me the other day how much of an influence pre-timing my sheets has on my scenes, and I said probably about 85%, because I'm figuring it all out beforehand before I draw anything. You know, figuring out the rhythms, figuring out the accents, and it's very old school, and of course in CG there's not really any exposure sheets at all. And so I find that pre-thinking lacking in both sides, in hand-drawn and in CG. You know, and it's what the old guys were great at. I mean, Art Babbitt always used to say, know that what you are going to do will work. Because they didn't have video testers. You know, when I started at Richard Williams, you'd see your dailies 2 days later back from the lab. So it's a kind of thing where you had to make sure that what you put down was going to work. And so you learned to develop those skills. They were survival skills as much as anything else, but they also helped clarify your thinking. And I think that's really what's lacking for me. I know the approach in CG animation sometimes is to layer things, for example.
Let's animate the torso, now we'll attach the arms and legs, and now we'll attach the head, and now we'll do the facial.
And and then that's it, but nothing has any particular, you know, force to it, you know, whereas if you're conceiving of one pose organically that's expressive, it ties it all together. It helps you express what you're trying to express rather than trying to put it on in separate stages. And I think that intention of what the character needs to do is sometimes misunderstood.